All right. Hello, hello. Let's get started. I'm a little late because I think there was like a windstorm or something last night and knocked out our internet, so had to reset the router. But here we go. We should be doing the final couple of cycles for Pyre this episode, or the stream. And that'll be the end of this game. So, I was almost exactly right when I said that it would probably take about a month to play. Alright. Pain mode. Hey, Nana! Okay. Should probably move my phone off of the table where my microphone is so you don't hear it vibrating the entire stream. Because no one ever talks to me unless I'm streaming. I think we're on cycle 7 now? Not 7. 6 maybe? At dawn, your companions are prepared to depart. Everyone is silent. Your travels are to take you back to the Isle of Kaelmer, but soon after, the stars shall draw you here again. I can't remember if I got all the opposing team backstories. I got a lot of them. Let's hit these guys. Hi, mates. Look who ran into us again. You gave us a proper licking last time and we owe you for it. You know, I gotta say, I kinda like your style there. Come right on crashing into us like you ain't even care. That's pretty good. Keep telling my mates here we ought to do the same. It is enjoyable getting run. Yeah. The flying wagon is like so necessary. Again, we return to the Isle of Kaelmer, hidden in the storm. I have met very few who know of it at all, much less have walked upon its stones and sands. The disconcerting tales of the demise of Kaelmer Rope Caller, who met his end there on that isle. The imps that swarm and breed across the place today seem not to mind. Having paid witness to the rites firsthand, they have become rather obsessed with it. I sometimes wonder if it is more difficult to conduct the rites with such a boisterous audience. May the Pyrehearts find their way shortly so that the imps may have the contest they desire. Is this it? Ezo. Oh god, I don't want to talk to Falcon Ron. We'll go Tizo. I think I already unlocked everyone's backstories too. Yeah. I have everyone's backstories. And Sandra doesn't want to talk to us, I think. Yeah, okay. Have been watching these. Who did I send up? I have sent up Hedwyn, Rukey, Jodariel, and the moon-touched girl who we named Kay this playthrough. Is there anyone else? I think that was it. Oh, and Takudog. I let him go. You make time to explore the steady currents of Sharp Shoal with your companions. Of course. I honestly, okay, I can't not let Takudog go because, like, the scene he gets with his, with his dad when you do is so sweet. It like actually kind of made me cry a little bit. Like I've seen it a million times and I was doing it on stream and I was getting a little choked up. Dante, don't you dare. Damn it, cat. Not that. No, you're not allowed to do that. Sorry, Dante was trying to claw thing again. Again. Naughty little ragamuffin. But yeah, so I try and send him if I can. And then I try and send Kay if I can, so I can get their, like, little ending. Tizo has not yet spotted anything in the surrounding area, but thinks maybe he could. Am I gonna stop paying attention to you when you do that? Because I know you're just being a little attention whore. This knight has not yet uncovered ample ground. His search goes slowly. They turn to you. You may continue searching or return to the wagon empty-handed and pursue your vocations. We're probably gonna do the vocations because I want to make sure. Your time here is better spent pursuing your vocations. The three of you return to the wagon. Oh, hi, love. Here you go. Sit on your chair. I want to make sure whoever I want to send next is ready to go. You observe Tizo rummaging about the black wagon as though in search of something. He notices you there and rushes up to greet you. Tizo's glad you are here. He was just reminiscing about old times. But just as quickly, he resumes his search. Tizo is looking for something a former exile of the Nightwings once gave him. He is growing frustrated that the object he seeks is nowhere to be found. You almost do not notice the lone minstrel approach. I'm afraid that it is gone, Tizo. I'm very sorry. Reader, it is nothing that ought to be cause for much concern. Merely that Tizo has misplaced something of sentimental value to him. It was just a spare bandage, he indicates, exactly like the one on his horn. Tizo here has had many adventures with the Nightwings. Is that not so, Tizo? He squawks in approval. Those memories shall always stay with you. Is that not what matters most of all? He confirms this as well. Then please do not worry yourself about it anymore. It is a symbol of a distant past, besides. Tizo skulks away up into the rafters. The lone minstrel watches him go. The object that he seeks does not exist, reader. Tizo searches for it from a fleeting memory of his days with the Nightwings of the past. He performed the regular duties of other drive imps at first, but soon distinguished himself. I was none too surprised. He was clearly special. Yeah, that's because he has a unique design. Don't you know anime rules, lone minstrel? He had grown close with the other members of the Nightwings when misfortune fell and the triumvirate fell apart. Perhaps Volfred has revealed to you more of the details. He has. In fact, this conversation is entirely redundant. As for Tizo, I feel he must make peace with the shadows of his past somehow. Perhaps then he shall cease searching. You need not worry for him, of course. He is resilient and shall always serve the Nightwings well. You might say that he was born for it. Begging your pardon, reader. The lone minstrel excuses himself in his polite way, leaving you to consider what he said. Oh, I didn't realize that I was gonna get a roster bio update. Okay, hold on. There are a lot of imps in the downside, but few, if any, are like this one. In fact, he seems to be descended from the most famous imp of them all. Tizo is older than he appears, and drove the black wagon of the Nightwings for many years, learning much about the Rites while traveling with the triumvirate. But when misfortune fell, he disappeared. He re-emerged years later, having become an integral part of Volfred's plan, and to serve as a liaison between Volfred and a certain band of exiles whom he entrusted. Yeah, poor Tizo. Oh, did I max out Tizo? Wow, okay. I haven't decided if I wanted to send Pamitha or Sir Gilman next. I don't remember how many rights we have left, because it very unhelpfully does not tell me. I know this one isn't the last one, but I can't remember if there's 2 more after this one or 3 more. Pamitha's ending kind of sucks. Unless you, like, free both her and her sister. We'll do Pamitha for now, and then we'll just, like, use Sir Gilman. Does Sir Gilman actually want to go back up? Because I know Pamitha has that constant chip on her shoulder with her sister, yeah. Gilman is, like... I think he's, like, one of the characters who, like, wants to go back up because it's, like, part of his redemption, but also is, like, okay with staying in the downside forever. Like, it's not quite as tragic as some of the other characters staying in the downside forever. I know Pamitha will never reconcile with her sister unless they're both topside, and even then, like, it's not that great. Dawn, Sir Gilman finds you shortly before the wagon is set to depart. Hark, Master Reader, this night he understands that we shall soon stand against the Pyrehearts and his former knight commander. This knight is eagerly awaiting the occasion, rest assured. Sir Deluge shall see that our true strength lies in the bonds that have flourished between us. Sir Gilman rejoins the others in making final preparations for departure. As you prepare to set forth, you sense his mixed emotions about the coming Rite. I was kind of hoping he would give me the history, unless I already got the history. Because I think that Sir Gilman is the only one whose history we, like, don't know yet. Bertrude and Tizo are definitely fine staying. Not sure about Volfred anymore. I think Volfred is fine as long as he, like, as long as his plan succeeds. Like, he's cool with it either way. Yeah, Volfred's main thing is, like, the plan succeeding. Oh, I got the Tailwind crest back. Sweet. I forgot who I gave that to. I guess I gave that to Kay. Or no, I had this with Kay. Am I just, like, not using the Tailwind crest? I don't think I've ever sent Bertrude up. Or Volfred, for that matter. You stand before the bizarre outcroppings of the Isle of Caelmer. The sky darkens, and in the distance you hear the sound of gibbering creatures growing louder. She's slaying it here in the downside, that she is. And she's, like, double happy if you don't free Volfred, because then, like, they get to be together forever, but, like, not romantically, because Volfred doesn't feel like that about her. The sound of it is unnerving enough that your fellow exiles remain quiet, their eyes affixed to the stars above. Soon, something in the sky begins to stir. Not touching any of these.
It seems the stars once more have mustered wherewithal to usher in the rites.
This asshole.
The sky grows dimmer by the day. An age is ending. Surely you must know by now that you shall never all be free. Yet still you struggle to fulfill some senseless plan. But I digress, of course. Some of us still honor the tradition. Some of us hold dear the teachings of the scribes.
Listen, I actually did, the last time we faced the Withdrawn, I activated the Yslock star. But that was because apparently there's, like, a special thing with Bertrude where, like, if you activate the Star of Yslock, then, she can, like, permanently damage, whatever her name is, Udmildhe. She could permanently damage her confidence, and I don't think I've ever done that before in a playthrough, so I did do that last time. The pyres on each side are burning bright. From across the field you observe the leader of the Pyrehearts approach and remove his mask. You Nightwings are kind. We should never have bent our backs for the likes of you. This knight has no love for your accursed country anyway. This knight could simply swim back to the Sea of Solace whenever he so pleases. Perhaps he shall do exactly that once we are finished here. I kind of want to replay this game now and like do that quest and then like free her and see if she gets like a different ending or something. Okay, did we get your history? Oh, we did not, okay. I got cock blocked by story dialogue last time. Bertrude for like playing? Give me a second. I want to take Sir Gilman first.
Sir Gilman.
I always put the slowest character in the second slot. Volfred's further behind her though. Oh, the ending thing? No, I wanted to see like if Udmildhe or whatever. How do you pronounce that name? It sounds very German, but and I've probably been mispronouncing it this whole time. I wanted to see if she got a different ending, if she like lost faith in Yeastlock or something. But I guess that's probably on the wiki and I could probably just go look at it. Okay, I'll take Volfred too.
Volfred.
Is getting what's-her-face to the top after her confidence has been shot as close to impossible. Is it really? I have no idea. I imagine that if you like faced them in a couple of matches and like intentionally lost, you could probably get her there. Let's see here. Bertrude is the farthest behind. I am going to switch this out though with the Tailwind crest. So she has like a workable speed.
Bertrude.
If she's gonna be my second here. Our adversaries are the Pyrehearts. If this should be our final confrontation against them, then let us show them our true power here and now. Pyrehearts, this might be our final battle, so this night he vows he shall not flee. Not this time. Now, on guard. It's so cute how they just like have their little books on their backs.
Commence.
Oh god, okay. Sir Gilman actually moves so fast, I like have a hard time with him.
None left unscathed.
Like when he's dashing, it's so easy to just like pass the Pyre like an idiot.
First dousing. There.
Banish 2 exiles in a single aura cast. How about no? See? Beneath
contempt.
Oh shit. Okay.
Banishment. Quite foul.
How does that keep Oh. Okay, I see what's happening.
Flames grow weak.
I'm like, how do they keep banishing me like that? It's because they have like a freaking talisman or whatever going on.
Sir Gilman plunges.
Just looking at this stresses you out. I'm sorry. But honestly, I'm playing, I set the difficulty to like baby mode. And with no Titan stars activated, it's actually like really freaking hard to lose.
Good.
I get the stress thing though. That's why I don't watch like any sports. Or I watch sports games, but only after they've already happened and I know who won. Get out of my way. I would like for that guy to move. Thank you.
Glory to the scribes.
It is a lot easier with a controller too. Like, this game was not optimized for PC very well. Which kind of sucks because, like, the PC version is like the only one that exists.
Mayhap the scribes shall simply smite them down next time. The ceremony is complete.
This night declares the taste of victory is sweet indeed. We prevailed against a worthy foe. Well done, Nightwings. As for the Pyrehearts, though they fought us fiercely many times, I doubt that it shall be enough. May they find mercy in this land. Well, this is, like, depressing. Ye Pyrehearts, ye conducted here with such fury and such desperation that we must commend ye for it, despite the outcome which hath favored us. Pyrehearts, perhaps we ought to return now to the bottom of the sea of solace. These rites this night, he thinks we have learned enough.
The rites do tend to teach something of trust. I knew someday that even Volfred there would see the light.
Okay, what do I got? What do I got? Sapling shall automatically spawn near his pyre until he returns. I'm gonna take this. Yeah, I was, oh god. What was I watching? A couple of days ago, my alma mater was playing a football game, and they were like, it was like actually a close game, which is like not necessarily common for them because they're a pretty good team. So I was like sitting there, I was like, I don't even like football and this stresses me out. American football, for the record. Dante's in his little chair. Back to sleepy. Inside the wagon, after besting the Pyrehearts, Volfred is discussing aspects of the outcome with the others when the lone minstrel seeks you out. Pardon the interruption, reader, though I need to ask a moment of your time while the night is clear enough for you to see. Please come have a look outside. Perhaps the news of your next destination may further stir the hearts of your companions. Among what stars yet remain shining in the night, one of them now burns as bright as ever you have seen. Oh, okay, I guess we're already to a liberation, right? The only sports I watch are those where there isn't a direct competition, like gymnastics. Everyone takes their turn to be awesome. It's less frantic to watch. Gymnastics and like those like that almost stress me out more though. Like, watching figure skating is like actually horrible. Because like every single time they move, I'm like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Oh, we have to play the Chastity, really? The cycle turns even more quickly now, until such time as it shall shudder to a halt. He makes a sound then, almost like a laugh. I forget myself, reader. I should not say such things. The scribes, they would say that one ought focus on the path in front of her. When we set forth to walk a long and labored path, it can be all too much if we stand back and look upon it as a whole. We may well decide to turn around. I'm not even worried about them getting injured, I'm just worried about them falling and messing up because I feel so bad for them. Especially when they're done and they like cry. Oh, that's like literally the worst. And like, especially like at the Olympics when they're like sitting in the little box waiting for their score and they're just like crying and their coach is hugging them. It like hits my empathy strings, okay? I don't like it, so I don't like it when they fall. But if we begin to walk whilst casting down our gaze and whilst resisting well the urge to look too far ahead, we may make steady, careful progress. Soon enough, we may arrive where we endeavored. The lone minstrel bids you a good evening. You had best retire for the night, for when the first daylight comes, it shall be time again to take to the skies. Did I get K's, like, where are they now sequence, or do I have to wait? I think usually you get those like between like the second and third or first and second. Right. The exception was one girl I saw landing wrong after a jump and both her legs just snapped. Oh god, ooh. Ow. Oh, hi. The sexy one is back. Your wagon reels from the impact of some sort of massive object slamming into it mid-flight. False Nightwings. God, he's so hot. And the commentator was like, I think she might be injured. Yeah. Yeah, really. Oralech calls down to all of you from atop his wagon. Again, you seek to climb this that cursed mountain beneath us. Again, you seek to take my rightful place. Dedu vibes on. I didn't even think about it as like Dedu vibes until I was just like sitting there a couple of days ago, and I was just like I was like thinking about it. I was like, long white hair and sexy horns. I was like, I want that for Dedu now. He could be a Dimity love child. He could. It's like uncanny, actually. I should send you crashing down to it that you might fall as I have. He stares down at all. He's so mad at us. Like, it's not my fault. He probably could have shown up to my wagon and been like, sup, bruh? And like, Volfred would have been like, holy shit, it's Oralech. And he could have been like, hey, can I like join you? And we probably would have said yes. This is how I imagine Nikolai from now on. Yes. Oh my god. That's actually perfect. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna tell Rose that so she can start drawing him like this. He stares down at all of you. But I shall not. Rather, we shall meet upon the summit ere the last cycle of the rites is ended. Until then. Pamitha. I'm gonna go Pamitha because I think I'm gonna free her next. Assuming this isn't the last cycle. In which case, we'll see. You make a landing on the sacred Mount Aladiel after your encounter with Oralech. Oralech spoke the truth. He has a right to gain the summit. When the time comes, Celeste shall deem him worthy and shall let him pass. While he has transgressed against the rites, he has also already been anointed and prevailed. Nothing is written in the book on this, and liberty ought already be his. For the time, it seems that he has not yet traveled to the summit. Perhaps he is still making preparations with his fellow exiles. When exactly Oralech intends to make good on his promise, he did not make clear. For now, he absolutely did. He said, when the cycle of the rites stops turning. That's like very clear that he's coming at the last cycle. Like, for now, you are to confront Manly and the Chastity upon the summit, but first you may prepare. Nobody talked to in the Black Wagon. Later that afternoon, you accompany Pamitha through the sublime grandeur of Temple High Road to the monument of Luce Glorian. What do you do when all this is over, Pamitha? You're going to run away? Let's face it, you're probably not getting out of here. Well, Pamitha, I have some news for you. So then, you can either go live out your days under some rock somewhere, or maybe these who call you their friend, maybe they mean it. You return to the wagon after she has finished paying her respects. The summit awaits, but first there's time to continue practicing your vocations. I like kind of just scared myself when I hit the mentor companion button because they popped up so fast. Okay. We'll mentor... I guess we'll mentor Volfred, since he's like the farthest behind. Though I guess he already has his 4 skill. Alright, let's mentor Gilman. You and Sir Gilman? Yeah, I'm not gonna read that actually. I love him. I know, like, we wouldn't have the plot of this game if Oralech wasn't an idiot, but, like, he 100% could have just, like, rocked up to the Nightwing's Black Wagon, and we probably would have taken him. Like... Oh, I have to click it? Yeah, here we go. A messenger imp with news and rumors from the other side somehow tracks you down in the narrow passageways of Mount Aladil. The imp's message pertains to Kay, who you liberated at the fall of Solium and whose past transgressions have all been forgiven since her return to the Commonwealth. Her past transgressions of nothing. Honestly, staying in the downside doesn't sound too bad. Just go with Bertrude and her potion assistant or whatever. A few years down the line, you get a set of awesome horns, beats going to the surface and then holding down a real job. I know, right? You learn that she was taken in by a well-to-do foster family and was given private schooling of the highest order in the Astralist tradition. A theocratic sect believing divine authority rests with the stars. They alone dictate the future. They promised her that in time she might one day have the honor of teaching the children of the Commonwealth herself. However, she soon went her own way, insisting that the 8 scribes themselves were calling to her. She started wandering again all on her own. That is, until she located Volfred's agent. Thus her wandering ceased, and the ranks of the revolution grow stronger. Kay also left a simple message: believe in the scribes. You thank the messenger and for the report as your companions gather to discuss. Tizo misses having Kay around, though is pleased to hear that she's well. She has the manner of a saint, that one. She knows in her heart the traditions of the scribes. That one, very powerful indeed, as a sorceress of sorts, a certain air about her, most intriguing. Small in stature was the goodly Kay, yet great indeed in spirit. Even now this knight remains in awe of her. She better be more careful, else they'll throw her right back in here with the rest of us. Pamitha has a point. The news of Kay's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with a newfound resolve. Wish Kay luck. There we go. Now we Scribesgate. You are returned once more to the Scribesgate, where the gate guardian awaits under a dim sky. Small stature, says Gilman, I know, right? The exiles of the Nightwings, and you, Tariq. This is to be one of our final meetings. Greetings, Celeste. The Nightwings are prepared, and afterwards, I would have words with you in private, if you please. It seems to me rather late for words now, Tariq, but I shall hear them once your charges cross the gate. Now, all of you, come forth. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing the Scribesgate. Once more your companions cross the gate, one after the other, and once more you follow them in turn. Celeste regards you all, then waves you through toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. And Tariq? I, Celeste? You may rejoin the others in a while. For now, I would hear those words of yours. Certainly, Celeste. Everyone, I shall see you shortly.
The plains that sleep below, to the canyons open wide, hear the song of gentle morning for the lost and lonesome bride. On the hill and in the flowers hide.
I don't even know why I'm talking to him.
Morning for the lost and lonesome bride. Now he roams through hill and valley, and the canyons open wide, singing songs of gentle morning for his lost and lonesome bride, for his lost and lonesome bride.
Nitpick, but the end of that song always bugged me because they like go on a high note, like it's not gonna end, and then it ends. Okay, the time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a homecoming in the Commonwealth, lest your adversaries, the Chastity, achieve the same instead, and we are not letting Treerenz get out. The lone minstrel has returned and approaches as you await the signal from the stars. There's something that I wish to ask you, reader, something which ordinarily would not be my place to discuss in any detail. You have observed the stars. If you would not mind my asking you in such a direct manner, how many liberation rites are you supposing yet remain? Have you deduced how many liberation rites are still yet to come? 2, including this one. You tell him that the only logical deduction which you have been able to make based on all of your readings of the stars of late, that there shall be one final liberation rite after tonight. I concur with your evaluation, reader madame. I wish to make certain you were aware, so that you and the Nightwings yet make the most of your remaining time together thus. Jesus Christ, this... I like this game, but sometimes the dialogue is, like, hard to read, especially when you're reading aloud. As to what shall happen once the final liberation rite is ended, we soon shall both find out. But lo, it seems we are called upon once more. Look forth. I'm also pissed about the Titan Stars because I definitely cleared a match with all of them active and it didn't proc the achievement.
Reader, I would ask that you think back for just a moment, if you please. When you first looked upon the Book of Rites, think back upon the words that it revealed. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Oblige the voice that tells you more.
Suck my dick.
Would that the scribes were here among us still. I would not sing your praises to them, rest assured. I trust that you shall savor this occasion. You shan't have to oblige me for much longer.
The Pyre's burn in each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The Pyre's burn in each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the Chastity, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings. Such a great asshole. I know. Rose came to the last stream and she was like, I want to punch him like every 30 seconds. Oh my god. Sorry, okay, my friend like sent me a message and she was like, I'm gonna be a whore for a second. And I just looked and she sent me like a panel of a manga that's like has a male character with like his forearm exposed, and she's like, I am screaming over this, like, why is he so hot? And I was just reminded of like how like Dimitri's Lord outfit has like a 2 square inch bit of forearm skin, and we all absolutely lost our fucking minds over it. Anyways, Manly flourishes onto the ground and grasps his mask in his spindly fingers. Warmest salutations to you all upon this blessed eve. I am H. Manly Tinderstock, and I must say I am very moved to be part of these proceedings. That reminds me of when Zhongli shows off like his wrists and the Phantom thirsts over it for days. I know, right? Like anime dudes showing off their forearms is powerful. It shall be my humblest of privileges to return quite soon, I hope, unto the Commonwealth, where I shall dedicate myself in full toward the betterment of that society. I long to be part of this glorious tradition, even when my freedom is rightfully restored. For it is not the case that is it not the case that exiles such as we are called upon to lead? How you govern in your commonwealth is not our business here. Your intentions shall mean nothing if you do not prevail in this right, manly Tinderstock. Oh, but I mean no offense. I meant no offense at all. I shall serve well these rights, I promise. Why, I should think I shall be sending many exiles here into the downside to replace me. Wow. This guy sucks. I can think of quite a few who I think would benefit from experiencing this wonderful tradition for themselves. Then Manly covers his face again. This is just Lorenz Ferdy as a tree, I know! Then Manly covers his face again. Now, as for you, Nightwings, make no attempt to undermine me here, and nothing shall befall your loved ones in the Commonwealth. Is that a deal? Holy shit, dude. Like, threatening our families? Oh, last stream, this isn't relevant, but like, last stream, I accidentally flirted with Jodariel because I always do that. She's like, I think Ignarius is hot. And I was like, you know, I care about you, Jodariel. And she was like, oh, I'm not like into you. And I was like, can you not just say you care about someone without it being like sexual? Like, what? Why was that where your mind went, Jody? He's a lot more sinister than, yeah. Lorenz and Ferdy are just kind of like dumb. Manly is like dumb and scary. Nightwings, your choice. In whose name shall you conduct this liberation, right? I wish you the wisdom of the scribes in making your choice, reader. And I wish you to come prepare a song with me, Tariq.
Whom shall you attempt to send home this time?
Okay, I guess I can't do either of these two, which makes sense. So what do you think, Pamitha or Gilman? I was gonna do Pamitha next, but I think I'm gonna do Pamitha.
Pamitha.
Just 'cause I feel bad because she's never gonna make up with her sister, but at least this way I can like, she at least like isn't here where it sucks. Time to get my shot at this then. How very thoughtful of you, reader darling.
Who shall strive for her?
Brought Volfred and Bertrude last time, but I'll bring Volfred for like my tank.
Volfred.
Prepare yourself, Pamitha, for on this night the Nightwing shall prevail in your name and set you free. And Tizo. Tizo is more than willing to help Pamitha get home.
If that is all, then.
Now it begins. Do me a favor, if you please, and stand aside like a good sport there, I promise to reward you handsomely once I am free.
Commence.
Oh, what is this now? It seems to me the scribes so enjoy our company, the entertainment we provide, that they have deigned to reignite our pyres. Observe. Something stirs in the sky. If the heavens are to rain and reignite your pyres, then the rite shall continue ere one pyre or the other is put out. I'm sorry, did Manly just fucking cheat? What a piece of shit. That's not bullshit, Manly. This is a good song. And I like how it has variations depending on which team you're fighting. Oh, it's already over.
The blasted Nightwings proved their worth.
I didn't get to do the
As for
who
their
lights the way
adversaries,
for
they did not.
aimless.
Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free.
He's really bad about this.
Absolved
Oh,
of
thank
all
you.
misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. Her adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
After I'm done with Hades, I'm probably gonna play Transistor or Bastion, and I cannot promise I won't sing. I'll probably have to like take a headphone ear off, because like these headphones I'm wearing are noise dampening, and it's very hard to sing when you can't hear yourself. Why, this is an utter outrage. Have you any idea what you've done, you ingrates? Suck it. Well, then it's good that you're good at it. I would probably do it even if I wasn't good at it, and you would all just have to suffer through it with me. So, what am I, supposed to give a speech or something then? I kind of wanted to free Tamitha too, but I like wasn't sure how many rights I had left, and I wanted to get K up there because I like K's ending with Takudog. Reader darling, all of you, look, I've no idea why you picked me. Well, I do have one, but I don't think it's right. If you'd wanted to get rid of me by now, you needn't have gone to such lengths, and so I'm left only to conclude that you did this for me. The years I spent down here, in one sense, they have all been such a waste. Just utterly for nothing, spectacularly so. I thought that my relationship with Tamitha had nowhere left to go but up, but, well, you know, not quite the case. But then, I think, on what would have become of me had I made no attempt to set things right, had I not done everything I have. I could not have lived with that, I think. I was so certain that my life would end down here. I'm only now beginning to consider that the opposite may have come true instead. What I'm trying to say is thanks to all of you. I mean that. Now, I guess I'd better head back to that damned Commonwealth. So, bottoms up. She plunges into the water of the shimmer pool and disappears from view, though her voice still rings out. We'll have to see what we can do up there, provided that my sisters haven't had their way with it just yet. Anyway, let's find a way to keep in touch, but just in case, goodbye. Pamitha earned back her freedom. May she return in glory.
Godspeed, Pamitha Thane. The cycle of the rites is nearly at an end.
Yeah, I think I usually leave like Tizo, Volfred, and Bertrude downside when I play. Just because they make the most sense. Like, Tizo doesn't care about getting free because he's, like, from the downside. I could never free Pamitha. She is too valuable to the team. True. Though, I mean, Tizo is, like, almost just as good. Especially when he has his special talisman. Because that means that he's, like... He basically has infinite stamina. If you fully upgrade the, like, Haub's wing. So he's, like, slightly more useful than Tamitha, because, like, she's faster, I think, but he's, like, infinite stamina is, like, way too good. You prevailed in the liberation against the Chastity. Already does the Black Wagon feel quieter than usual without Pamitha, who returned to the Commonwealth. You overhear some of your companions reflecting on this. It never grows easier having to say farewell to one of our own. Tizo is trying to console Volfred with an imp-soothing song. Aww. That's so cute. Having two flyers is better than one, also true. You wonder who, if anyone among you, shall be the next to go. The last light of the stars still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we'll learn the outcome soon enough. What's our success rate? 81 probability of success. That's pretty good. Our actions to this point shall pave the way, perhaps our faith as well, so let's for now focus on this. We stand upon the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the rites. Soon we'll have a final chance to get one of you home. Now reader, up for a little stargazing? Let's see where in the downside we shall be returning for these final rites. You turn back toward the darkness to look upon the last few stars too stubborn to relinquish their light. I think this rite, if you pick a team that has absolutely no chance of winning, depending on the team, they just like straight up won't show up. So like the Pyrehearts will probably show. The Chastity and the Fate are just like, the Chastity is just like out. I think the Dissidents will always show up. I think the Essence will always show up. I think the Withdrawn and like the Tempers and the Accusers might not. I'm not sure. I think the Pyrehearts won't. The Fate will, I think, and I don't think the Chastity will, but it's hard to say. Withdrawn, Essence, Tempers. Oh. I'll go here, just because I want to see if she has any special dialogue now that we've, like, turned her off Eastlock. Once more, you are to face the Withdrawn, then. Altogether, I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make way for the spring of Jomur, when everyone is feeling more refreshed as much as possible. Okay, first things first. Sandra. Nope. I didn't get Hedwyn's special scribe trial, so I'm hoping that didn't like mess something up with Sandra. And what's our book say? On legacy. Reader, though you shall always bear a burden, it is much lighter than the burden of a lonesome exile. Go forth and become free, then join with others such as you and lead, with mercy, continuing to demonstrate your worth, and knowing that the Empire's fall form the foundation of our Commonwealth. You shall cease to be a reader and become a voice both to the free and to your successors here, who shall take up this book when you no longer need it. The cycle of the rites shall see to it that you, and others like you, shall be liberated ere the coming of another age. May the stars shine ever brightly on us all. The lone minstrel has returned already to the wagon after Pamitha's homecoming to the Commonwealth in the Liberation Rite. Your companions are most grateful to you, reader. Would that Rukey could have been here with the rest of them to witness Pamitha's glorious return. Oh yeah, I don't think we got like any Pamitha and Rukey scenes in this entire run, but like Pamitha and Rukey are friends. They get like hammered together. I trust that they shall reunite there in your Commonwealth, where they may yet contribute to the outcome of your plan, and thus create a place that welcomes all of you. May you and your companions... What the fuck? May you and your companions to continue to prevail thus. For now, Celeste and I are to return to our respective roles until we meet again at the Scribesgate. Rest well for now, reader. He bids you a good rest of the night. Okay, a good rest of the night. Kinda sweet how like this ashes are like falling now. It is daybreak. You are set forth now for the spring of Jomur for what appears to be the final time. Thereafter you shall return here for one last exile's final chance at liberty. Of course, all of the stars that were lit are like at the absolute farthest point south. Okay, we're gonna finish up Pyre like way before I thought we were gonna finish up Pyre, so like this is gonna be a real short stream here unless I play something else. Is it gonna be us or were you gonna be selfless? I was gonna let you decide that. Gilman. Izo. I'll go Gilman. A foreboding feeling stuck with you since your arrival in the barren wastes of Fall Flat. Some of it spreads to others in the group. Only watcher privileges, yeah. This night's skin crawls with much anxiety. Tomorrow is another day, but for the time, we will have to ride this out. You decide to focus on pursuing your vocations until the Black Wagon is ready to move on. Enter Volfred. I should be in, whatever. I'm not gonna read the, like, that dialogue. Save my voice a little. Let's see here. What you kitty?
The simple Kiwi voice.
Like, honestly, I don't even need Stardust anymore. Because, like, all of my talismans are, like, fully upgraded, and it's really not worth buying any other ones than the special ones. So, like, this is my one complaint about this game. Like, the Scribe's Trial talismans are so much better than anything else you can buy that it's, like, not even, like, there's no real point in buying anything else. And the other best one is the Tailwind Crest, which you get for free from, Dalbert. So, like, why bother buying any talismans? After making all the necessary preparations amid the dry flats of the Spring of Jomur, you and your companions await the commencement of the rites. It is quieter even than usual at the onset of such events. The lone minstrel appears bearing some sort of news. I have checked, and it appears as though the withdrawn have not yet arrived, Reader Madame. There's no sign of Udmildhe or anyone. Their sigil is not set either. If what he says is true, and your adversaries are not present, then you presume the rite cannot commence. However, the stars themselves soon indicate you are mistaken. I'm gonna see something. We're just gonna...
Shank's 6 shoulders, the tattered mantle, Archbeast sun grease, Zilvius horse-headed.
Did I get all of them? Okay, we're just gonna see something real quick.
All of the Titan stars?
I want to see if they show up if I activate all of them. Or if I get the achievement if I activate all of them for this fight.
The Commonwealth. Your home. Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books. Aflame because of you. Because of your outlandish plan. Not that you care. Not that you shall live to see this place again. Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed. Though by all means, keep trying. As for myself, I shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
The rite is set to commence, but your adversaries, they have failed to show. We take this for an act of acceptance rather than cowardice. 'Twould seem the rites have nothing left to offer them. Indeed, as the rites are drawing to a close, some of the triumvirants whom you have met, perhaps they are beginning to decide the stars are not worth heeding any longer. I just remembered that we're not going to fight the Pyrehearts at the Liberation Rite because we got to fight Oralech. Udmildhe, you wonder whether she would give up on the rites like that. Well, obviously she did. Her obsession with the monstrous Eastlock is such that perhaps she did decide to focus her attention somewhere else. In any case, we have begun the ceremony here, and so I ask that we end it.
Who shall besmirch the Nightwing's name?
You can cry about it, dude. It really doesn't matter because we don't actually have to fight anyone. We'll take these two.
Bertrude.
I think they still earn experience here. And we'll go with Gilman, I guess.
Sir Gilman. Predictably
This
decided.
cannot possibly be honorable, can it? What? Pathetic, as expected, inconsequential maggots.
Lo, even your adversaries have abandoned you.
Just gonna slow walk this.
And it is done.
The Nightwings prevail by default.
Not that their adversaries even care.
It did not proc the achievement. But I swear to God, I did it like when there was an actual match and it didn't proc the achievement either, so. My only hope is that our would-be adversaries find some peace.
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
Oh, that's not even counted as a win, that's why.
Be gone now from my sight.
I mean, it would be way too easy. I know, I just wanted to see if it would work. I think it might unlock the, Oh no, I was hoping it would unlock, like, the book text, too, because you only get the book text about the Titan Stars if you, like, activate them for a match, but I guess not. No one speaks further of the withdrawn back at the Black Wagon. Everyone is instead preoccupied with the Rite that is to come. Tizo can scarce believe that this is to be the final opportunity to liberate one of your own. The stars always shine with truth. The ending of the cycle of the Rites is now upon us. He looks over to you. Please look forth, reader madam, and see this for yourself. You may well surmise where we are going next. The others turn to you as well. You turn toward the wagon's door. You know that you shall see out there. Or you know what you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. The dim and fading light of the final star still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. And there's Oralech. Remind me to deactivate all those Titan Stars before this match. You are summoned to the Fall of Solium in your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of the rites be ended for an age. You sense that if the rites shall ever commence again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that of any of your companions, even the longest-lived ones. Why, it would be fun. No, thank you. The stars revealed to you one more thing. The adversary whom you face shall be Oralech. Already he has crossed the Scribesgate and awaits your arrival. If the 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness, perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwings should, in the end, be forced to face themselves. It is a shame that we should have to confront Oralech in the end. Our goals should never have been at cross purposes. I am surprised that this is what the scribes desire. For now, it may be best that you recover until dawn. Regain your strength as best you can for the coming trial. Rest well, reader. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Aladil to make a final effort to achieve your plan and get somebody home. But who? Oh, 84% now. Oh no, there it goes. The real question is, should I sit here and read all of these pages? There's so many of them. Love me? Nope. I think she'll talk to you in a second. I might just flip through the pages since you've read them all. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open the book and I'm just gonna like throw the text up on screen. And if future watchers want to like like watch the VOD and pause it to read them, they can go ahead and do that, but I'm not gonna sit here and read all of these because oh my god. I already did that when they revealed like a whole chapter of the book all at once, and I was like crying by the end of it. Yeah. I kind of wish that this text here in the book was more legible. It's very hard to read. And like, it's kind of annoying because one of the chapters has like words on both sides. I think it's like the like, oh, I think it's like the index or whatever at the end with like all of like the terms and everything. Has text on both sides, but the inspect button, I already saw Eastlock, but I'll put it up anyways. But like the text, the inspect text button only works on one side of the text, so you can only read half of it. So that's a bit of a design fail on the part of the devs. It's a cool looking text, it's just not super legible. Also, his name is Shaq Six Shoulders. I guess he does have 3 or 6 hands. It's like he only has 4, but no, there's 2 crossed across his chest there. Okay. I want to like look at all the titans. Eastlock is just like discount Cthulhu. That's creepy. That's just a hand. Scorpion, whatever the hell that thing is. Okay. I love creepy fake gods, right? Okay, so now we're done with that. Oh great, this asshole.
Foolish reader. Your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot.
No shit, you figured that out by yourself?
They are exploiting you. You shall never have your freedom.
I mean, like, 2 streams ago, he, like, appeared to me in my dreams just to be like, hey, you useless fucking cripple. So, like, I mean, if you want to be on your side, that was not the most convincing argument you could have used. He's like those guys who ask a girl out, and when she says no, they're like, well, you're not that pretty anyways. It's like, okay. You could have just been nice, and then maybe I wouldn't have hated your guts, but I see we're going like this. By dawn, you are already up and about after a troubled slumber. The Black Wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the fall of Solium. No one speaks. Well, at least that makes us faster. And then he speaks. As you lift into the skies, the lone minstrel raises his voice, cutting through the somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstance. Perhaps it may help to pass the time along our flight. Would you mind it very much if I were to play this song for the Nightwings? Sure. I have a feeling it's like that Lost and Lonely Bride song again. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad so that all among you may hear it. He begins without another word.
When the stars align, the Rite shall come to bear. Illuminate the signs, the exiles shall be there. All are not the same, but 3 shall be as one. Freedom in the flame, the end has just just begun. Strength may break our own, but twisted make up great. Together on their own, the journey shall be made. The journey shall be made.
Oh wait, I gotta get this. Once more we sail above the fall of Solium. The temple to the 8 scribes awaits us at the summit. None have seen the temple, save for those worthy to conduct the rites there, and myself and my counterpart Celeste. You may then wonder whence it came. The cycle of the rites has turned since the beginning of this age. Over its course, whilst waiting for the cycle's turns, some exiles thus paid tribute to the 8 scribes. I think the scribes may not have wanted such extravagance, or the carved effigies to them along the way, yet it is for triumvirates to decide how best to honor the rites. They chose to honor them as you see here. How you remember this, of course, whether you even wish to do so, is yours to decide. The scribes would not want otherwise. You also can't fly fast during that, so we had to go that slow. I'll go Tito. You touch down amid the sheer cliffs of Mount Aladil and make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall soon commence. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom. All others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you are part shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed. I have a question. So, like, do they not have other jails topside? Like, do they just have the downside where they throw absolutely everyone? Because, like, if they do it, it's kind of like when Harry Potter is just like, they have Azkaban for wizard prison, which is the worst thing ever, or you just don't commit crimes. I guess it makes sense for, like, a terrible authoritarian regime, but, like, also, I don't know. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you are all a part shall come to fruition or shall be suppressed. The shall dialogue saves money. True. You just expect these people to have multiple prisons, like, when taxpayer dollars could go to roads, or bridges, or firemen, or police? Come on. Clearly you don't know economics, just throw them all in, like, some chasm, I guess. After having landed, you join Tizo on an expedition to the monument of Jomer Menimane for what is likely to be the final time. Oh, hi. Tizo can talk. Hello again, great-grandfather. I have come again to ask of you a favor, if you please. My friends, they all wish to return to freedom. I was hoping you could help them just this one last time. I understand they cannot all go home. That is beyond even your power, now that the Titan stars have spread across the night. Yet by your leave, I wish to help them this last time. They are my friends. They are my friends. What else is there for me to do now save to help them? Soon he is finished, you return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Jomer Menimane has shown you favor. At dawn you shall begin your last ascent, for now your vocations may occupy what little time you have to spare. Okay, we'll do this first. Hi, Tizo. Tizo seems to be in the midst of a conversation with the lone minstrel as you approach the two of them. The little imp appears perturbed by something. And above all, he was very, very loyal, fiercely so in fact. All throughout the land knew better than to underestimate him in spite of his little stature. In that respect, Tizo, you and many others, I might add, your great-grandfather was very much like you. Tizo seems to be asking the lone minstrel to confirm he is not playing some sort of prank. I am being serious. Have you known me to be of the jesting sort? Tizo seems to be admitting the lone minstrel has always been sincere with him. Just so, then, perhaps, please do not denigrate yourself, for you are not only his heir, but you are my remaining link to him, and thus to all the 8. And more importantly, you are my friend. Tizo is grateful to the Lone Minstrel for his kind words, and considers him a friend as well. The Nightwings need you now, more so than ever. Then the Lone Minstrel turns to you. Is that not so, reader? Heartily concur, respectfully decline. Why would you ever be like, screw you, Tizo? Jeez. You concur with the Lone Minstrel's assessment of Tizo as a most remarkable and irreplaceable member of the group. He's an extraordinary imp indeed. At this, Tizo rushes up to you and gives you an imp hug. Aww. Tizo is grateful to you for your kindness and your support of him. Tizo bounds off happily as the Lone Minstrel looks on. And there he goes, thank you indeed, reader. Tizo sometimes loses sight of all that makes him special, a quality uncharacteristic of his kind, but not so much uncommon among yours. Once there was a time when he was the sole imp able to conduct the rites. Since then, however, other triumvirates have found imps with the capacity for it. They make for useful allies, no, more than willing to conduct the rites whilst having no desire to leave this place, although little Tizo does have dreams of visiting the Commonwealth. Don't tell me that, he's not going up. In any case, I am certain he shall continue to serve the Nightwings faithfully. The Lone Minstrel bows his head on his way out, bidding you a good rest of the afternoon. Talk to Sandra yet? Alright, let's mentor. I'll go Volfred. I think I'm just gonna go for this, actually. Yeah. He has 8 quickness, Jesus Christ. Alright, Scribesgate, let's go. A messenger imp somehow tracks you down in the ancient formations of Mount Aladil, which shouldn't be surprising because he literally did this last time, and delivers to you recent news and rumors from the other side. Specifically, the imp shares details regarding Pamitha and what became of her since she was liberated at the fall of Solium. She found herself back in the homeland of her enemies where, despite her connection to the Highwing remnants, her past transgressions were forgiven. In fact, she was asked to join the military council given her unique background, yet she refused to cooperate and instead demanded to be reunited with her sister Tamitha. But when they threatened her with resentencing to exile, she insisted that she take the opportunity. Pamitha said at last that she would think it over and return with a decision soon. Next she was seen, however, was among Volfred's sons and daughters of the Revolution, where it is said she has attached her loyalty, at least for the time. You thank the imp for bringing you this news, which soon gets your companions talking. We suspect the ancient enmity between the winged and the flightless shall not be soon resolved, if ever at all. Hi. I hold to hope that both the Thane sisters one day shall soon join together as part of our good cause. The two of them can help lead us toward a brighter future. Well, that ain't happened for Tamitha, dude. Never once before has this night felt even a thing for our most bitter enemies, and yet, having known Pamitha proved eye-opening indeed for this night. Tizo wishes for Pamitha to find her way and her sister in the Commonwealth. Well, her sister's down here, so that's not gonna happen. In spite of some mixed feelings, the news of Pamitha's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with resolve. You stand before the Scribesgate with your companions. The gate guardian is there as ever, but you sense something different in her. The exiles of the Nightwings, we shall not meet again after the coming Rite. Tariq and I, it shall be time we take our rest, I think. Greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Nightwings are prepared, though this time I am uncertain anyone among us feels thus. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? And then nothing. Not for the Rites or us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwing, step forward. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing the Scribesgate. One by one, your fellow exiles approach her, now with sureness in their step. If I may, my name is Volfred Sandalwood. I long as yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend for it. Tiso believes that his ancestors are watching over the Nightwings and seeks to live up to their legacy. We are called Big Bertrude. We seek to fulfill the plan of Sandalwood, for we are fond of him and his beliefs, and then to go about our business. That's 84 still, okay. Sir Gilman of the Sea Dominion, at your service. This night's never-ending quest for honor shan't end here, yet first he has a noble duty to uphold. Finally, you step forth once more. You, a crippled scholar who longs to regain her freedom, and who managed to come this far with this group. The Gate Guardian observes you for a moment, then motions past the archway toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Except for you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said, the rites are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks to her, then over to the rest of you. Pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. They're gonna bang. The Gate Guardian and the Lone Minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. Talk to me, Sandra. I'll take you with me. You've gained You've gained the summit of Mount Allodil for the 7th time, the final time in which any of you shall have a chance to leave the downside. Yeah, okay, the Beyonder Crystal seeks you. Imagine only getting to bang once in so little time. I know, right? Thank you for visiting me, or for visiting on such short notice, reader. I understand you have important matters to attend to. So let me be blunt. Please listen for a moment then. I know this whole affair is coming to an end, all of it. I sense the binds that form the rites becoming weak, which means soon you will not need me anymore. Not that you have needed me at any point, but still, my services will not be of any further use. I would love to tell you that this means I shall be free from my eternal prison. For some of my Beyonders, it shall be a release. My accomplices are bound by weaker words than those which have bound me. They shall fade away, I think, and finally rest. I, however, shall remain. She hesitates for a moment. Thus, I have a proposition for you. I do not know where you shall go from here, but I ask you take me there, wherever it shall be. By that I mean, take this stone prison of mine and keep it. Do not just leave it, as all your predecessors have, each time their stay among the Nightwings reached an end. Soon the Beyonder Crystal shall serve no use at all except to keep me trapped. I am content to remain thus, for I have little choice, but I would prefer to do so in your company. For I do enjoy your company, reader. This may not be much of a compliment, but I assure you that I much prefer your company to an eternity of solitude. I know, right? Like, poor girl. I have no wish to see you gain in years, and to eventually decay whilst I remain unchanging. But I should rather have more years whilst having contact, even if those years are to be brief. They shall afford me many more in which I might think back upon our times. Nor do I expect you to accommodate my needs, for I am well aware I have my limits in accommodating yours. That is to say, I wish you to go forth after this night and live your life however you see fit. For your own sake, may all this rights business enrich your coming days somehow. And in considering that life after this night, if you think that there may be a place in it for me, however small, then, once again, I simply ask that you take me along. That way, should you ever wish to visit me again sometime, you could. And I would like to have that as an option more than not. My request here is a selfish one, for there is little I can offer in exchange, other than what little my companionship is worth. Perhaps I could lull you to sleep once in a while. Who knows? You could always try and sell the Beyonder Crystal for a reasonable sum somewhere, or something to that end. There must be someone out there with an interest in this thing. So then, you have heard my sad little proposition. What do you say? Sandra wishes for you to claim the Beyonder Crystal for yourself. Oh. Why not? Of course we're gonna do it. Like, You grasp the Beyonder crystal and set it into the folds of your clothing. Sandra senses this and makes a sound, as though surprised. Thank you, reader. He's at a loss for a moment, then let us go then from this place. Go and face your last remaining adversaries. May you crush them under your heel and achieve the outcome which you seek. I believe you shall prevail. Spirit girlfriend, I know, right? I spent all of my younger years being mad that I couldn't bang Hedwyn, and Sandra's over here like, hi, love me, hello, and she's like way better than Hedwyn anyways. She disappears into the stone for now. And now I can finally stop saying Beyonder Krister. Like I have been every single time I've had to say it, except for this last time. Hey guys, I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, I'm going out of business here, I guess. Just hasn't been the same, you know, with all the stars fading out and stuff. You can't keep Hedwyn away from his own GF, sadly. I know, right? I was actually kind of mad, cause like, just out of like pettiness one time, I wanted to see what would happen if I like left Hedwyn in the downside and like didn't reunite them. And she just straight up like dives down into the downside to be with him. And I was like, I can't even get petty revenge on Hedwyn for having a girlfriend. Anyways, just wanted to say you guys are great, and I'm sure gonna miss having you guys as customers and all that. But I got some good news, those two, all my stuff, it's all on sale now, and I will throw a little extra there just for you, okay? So, enjoy, and maybe I'll be seeing you guys around, okay? Henceforth, all of Falcon Ron's goods are 5% off. Great. It's 5%, and this is the last Rite. Must be our lucky day here. I don't know what, Dad. Alright, final liberation Rite. You have gained the summit of Mount Aladil for the 7th time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation Rite. The lone minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader. We may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well this day, this night, and always. Go forth with glory. And he looks up, and he extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Tizo has joined you. All of your companions are there with him, in fact. Tizo wants you to know that he has the utmost faith in you. It is strange for me to say, given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now, let us achieve our plan. Reading 1. Thou art both wiser and less irritating than most others of thy kind. We have learned something from thee, and we are grateful. Master Reader, it has been this night's greatest honor to have served with you. Let this be our most glorious stand yet. You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs. After this night, the outcome of Volfred's plan, the plan which, of which you have all been a part, shall be decided, one way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles as the last remaining stars ignite. Final liberation rite of this age shall now commence. The stars have joined us. Okay, before we do anything, we're just gonna right quick do this. Unequip all of these. I hope the voice shuts up at least.
Look, for one last time, upon the fall of Solium, dear reader.
I was hoping for too much.
Hear me, for one last time. For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated, all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite. You face none other than yourselves. Each so unlike the glorious Nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
Okay, who should I anoint? The pyres burn and each of the triumvirants is present and prepared. Before the lone minstrel can concur as per custom. Not another word. The demon Oralech slowly raises his clawed fingers to his mask. The false Nightwings have arrived at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it, here upon this mountaintop. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silent. Then, Oralech dons his mask and stands prepared. May these damned rites cease forever for the misery which they caused. Volfred is most fitting. That's what I was thinking too, actually. Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus, I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or else the exile Oralech shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make the best decision and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. It is time now to choose who, if anyone among you, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gazes of each of your fellow exiles. Bertrude, Tizo, Volfred, Sir Gilman. He always has this, like, sparkle effect. Your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Together, you have come this far, but now the downside and the rites conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Yeah. With but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation. Too bad for the rest of you.
See Oralech's history. I think I already saw this. He was repulsed by what he saw on the blood border, which sowed in his heart a yearning for greater peace. He tried to use his influence to negotiate a treaty with the Highwing remnants, but not everyone was swayed. One day he received direct orders to return to the front. When he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him down. There in time he became affiliated with the Nightwings and grew to become one of their finest rites conductors, until tragedy struck and he was left clinging to life at the foot of the sacred mountain. Yeah, insubordination, erection, years. Insurrection. Years exiled 18. Alright, let's anoint Volfred.
Volfred.
Long have I dreamt that I might someday see this plan of ours come to fruition. I promise you that I shall make the most of it if we are to prevail. 84%. It's never 100%, by the way. You can never get it to 100%. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Volfred as well as you.
Who shall strive for him?
Okay, we're bringing along Tizo and we're bringing along Gilman. Was he like 18 when he went down? Because he'd still be looking mighty young. I think actually Jodariel makes the comment that becoming a demon might actually like slow your aging or something, or like extend your lifespan, so it's possible that he was older and he just like still looks young. Master Eater, this night is overflowing with resolve to see the goodly Volfred return to rightful dignity and glory. And Tizo. Tizo is ready to do whatever it takes to see Volfred regain his freedom this night.
The choice is cast.
Those are to be my adversaries, then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts her will over that group? You sense Oralech searching for you, almost reaching out to you. You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me, but you who would relinquish your own liberty for the sake of them? Strange. It is fitting, then, that I should have to face one such as you. Then Oralech stands at the ready, signaling for his two allies to do the same. By light of dawn, the cycle of the Rite shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq! Aye, I'm prepared, Celeste. Then let our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it. Oh, goddammit. I'm disappointed to see you here, Tizo, opposing me once more. Tizo is very upset and calls for Oralech to cease speaking to him. Oralech seems to stare at the imp for a moment. It is a shame that you are caught up in the middle of this, little one. Your mind has been poisoned against me. Tizo insists that Oralech is wrong and urges him to stop what he is doing. He's just mad that we got Tizo in the divorce. I am sorry, Tizo. Now, I shall only say this to you once. Stay out of my way.
Begin. The final chance at liberation for the age.
You wear the raiments once again. I could not simply stand by and do nothing, Oralech. Yet that is what you did. When last we stood together on this blasted mountain, I fell. You simply stood. What the hell was he supposed to do? Oralech, what shall it take for you to be convinced I took no part in your betrayal? Oralech seems to consider the question, but only for a moment. Give me my damn freedom. Let me prevail here and now. Would you promise to uphold our plan to bring about a commonwealth? No, I make no promises. I owe you nothing. Then I am sorry, Oralech. My love of country comes before all else. More than your freedom and our friendship is at stake. Your love be damned, Volfred. Let us stand as adversaries, then. Damn it. Okay, ow. I kind of keep screwing myself up because I have to have Volfred in front, which means I have to remember to, like, switch. The sky rains ash. Soon your Pyre's own mingle with them. Ugh. Just then, the skies above begin to rain down fire, the final throes of the cycle of the rites, and the ending of an age. Oh! Okay. That was very rude. Oh shit. I missed. Yeah, give me the orb. Okay. So the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. Was I not already? But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you. Sorry, did someone just get banished by, like, the freaking...
Grown old and bitter lo these many years.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay.
It was a crushing blow against their pyre. An opportunity. That fire's flames grow weak.
I got, like, hung up on the bottom corner and I was out of stamina. Okay. Oralech stands, breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smoldering pyre before turning his attention back to your triumvirate. Oh no, we want Gilman. We definitely want Gilman. Volfred can just stand there looking pretty, I guess. I have no idea why he has... Okay, I missed.
There it is, at last.
Okay.
The Ninth Wings proved their worth. Their adversaries they defeated utterly. Thus ends the Liberation Rite.
Okay, who are we sending?
And thus, the scribes have chosen.
Praise the scribes, we've done it. You look upon Volfred for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now the Shimmer Pool shall engulf him. Any moment now he shall return in glory and join his agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Okay. I don't know why it was telling me it was updated when it didn't have any new information. Any moment now the cycle of the Rite shall end, until at least the dawn of a new age. Any moment now.
And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen. No.
Okay, I respect your decision.
Reader, what have you done?
Hold, there's something wrong. Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened following the Liberation Rite and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now all is still, and the light of the stars above is all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Oh, I know, right? It's so good. Oralech approaches, his head bowed. The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. A sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared again, different somehow, but open. Volfred looks upon it, but it does not engulf him, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken then. The 8 scribes, this is not their greatest treachery, it is their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom. Oralech strides toward the Shimmer Pool, but halts Oralech. Oralech glances over at the lone minstrel, almost in surprise. The Shimmer Pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside, and you shall surely drown. Of that I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this. Then we have all been cheated. No, the Shimmer Pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But as for who returns, someone shall have to choose, ere the last light of the stars is extinguished, and the Rite cease to be. This is the final trial of the scribes. The final trial of the scribes. Then our confrontation, the Liberation Rite. It was all meaningless? No. The victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice among those closest to the scribes. Either the anointed or she who anointed them. So then, the choice is mine to make. My freedom weighted against the reader's. Is that it? Aye, it shall be either you, the reader, or... It shall be either or? Volfred, please, make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift. A snap decision, then. Fine. I have it made. Reader, my girl, this chance at freedom that we've earned, it's yours. Take it now and make good use of it, for you and all of us. Volfred wishes to give up his freedom so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, madame, the choice which Volfred made, or rather, the choice which he gave, it is now yours to make instead. This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this, absurd. It may, until such a time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial, and I fear that there is little time remaining now. Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. Freedom ought be more than some flirtatious trifle to exchange. Reader, what is your will? Okay, who's going free? I'm making you decide this, Nana. I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna pick Oralech. He earned his rightful freedom long ago. He deserves his justice. Your thoughts crystallized. You have chosen Oralech. What? Oralech, do you accept the reader's choice, or shall you make another? No, I shall not make another. I accept the reader's choice, the reader's mercy. Then it is done. For a moment, Oralech appears to be at peace, and then he is gone. Oralech regained his freedom. Accept this, for it is done.
Godspeed,
Get up, hot boy. I know, right?
By the scribes. No stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished. The Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside.
My controller will not stop vibrating.
Was it not enough?
Here we go. To be fair, Oralech's ending is really depressing if he doesn't go back topside. That night, the exile Oralech returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. I don't want to like hit the button before more text pops up. Okay. He found the Commonwealth was in a state of unrest. Spurred by the efforts of 5 liberated exiles, Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles and the starless sky portend the return of the scribes. The rulers of the Commonwealth pushed back. Fighting broke out in the streets in spite of Sandalwood's intentions. It was then that the winged high-wing remnants chose to strike. Allegations that the High-Wing remnants were in league with the Sandalwood were never proven. However, there was no denying the results of the two-pronged attack. After enduring for almost a millennium, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast their people into exile, and they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. Yeah, and then here's like all the epilogue things we can get. They have a special shiny background if you freed them, and different robes. So, let's see here. I think we're just gonna go like around unless people have... Yeah, I know, Jesus Christ. With the rites drawn to a close, the slug market's revenue fell precipitously, and Falcon Ron was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those of entrepreneurial leaning, this time of hardship led to an epiphany, or at least a sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Ron had a run-in with a messenger imp, bearing news from the other side. Ron gave it to one of his remaining trinkets, which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him, bearing a tiny sum of wealth in newly minted coinage from the Saurian Union. That was formed in 839 AS after the fall of the Commonwealth. Falcon Ron cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp, then and there. Though his trade remained a gray area from a legal standpoint in the Saurian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Ron's goods to explode in popularity. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Bertrude's and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rukey Greentail, whose own business had expanded. Especially in the Saurian Union, Falcon Ron's goods are still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. Yeah, so basically the ending is always the same. Like, there's always a new Saurian Union. It's just like, depending on how many people you free is like whether or not it's like a peaceful transition or if there's like fighting involved. So I guess 5 isn't enough. You probably need like at least 6 to make it like the true peaceful ending, but like it's the same ending anyways. Okay, who's next? Let's go with these two. After the cycle of the Rite ceased turning, the lone minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings to take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. Their parting was heartfelt but brief. He remained there at the summit of Mount Aladil with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq nor Celeste were ever seen again. We know all this now through song attributed to them. Some claim these songs originated in taverns in the Saurian Union and merely were imbued with weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims, and having met this duo that presided over the liberation rites. We get to bang in peace now, I know, right? Another folktale suggests these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligations, they departed the world we know and rejoined their patrons. One of their famous songs described another simpler outcome, that the two gave up their duties to the rites in favor of a life that they could share together. In any case, they are likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rites and ushered in our times. Oh good, they both disappear. I'm gonna do these guys before I do these guys, just because, I don't know, we don't have as much connection to these guys. After the final liberation rite, Lendel refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through the night after consecutive nights, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendel dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted, rather forcefully, that any evening now the stars would shine for him again and mark the way toward his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendel the Liar was never seen again. However, there have since been sightings of a bedraggled demon, bedraggled? I've never actually pronounced that word aloud, who wanders the downside and bears Lendel's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. After his liberation, Almer Oldheart was separated from his father Dalbert, who had cast his son into the Shimmer Pool in his own place. The elderly Dalbert Oldheart, having achieved his goal of earning back his son's freedom, retired from the rites. By the time the cycle of the rites had reached its end, Dalbert's time had come as well. Almer did not learn of this until much later. Surely Dalbert would have wanted it that way, would that he could have seen his son during this vital time. On the night of the scribe's return, inspired by the liberated exiles, the people of the Commonwealth demanded new leadership. Okay, cool. Almer became inspired by what he saw happening all around him. It reminded him of his father's words and beliefs. Soon, Almer joined the fight, protecting others bodily as the situation escalated. By dawn's first light, it was over. Almer was exhausted, but the cause had prevailed. From that point forward, he worked tirelessly to continue his father's work as a historian and a curator of Kur culture. He ended up providing invaluable perspective during the formation of the Saurian Union as someone strongly connected to both Kurs and to his own kind. He found that the Oldheart lineage carried a great deal of respect and was able to bridge many cultural issues between his people as they transitioned into modern times. I'm happy for Takumi Dog, I know. He's kind of sad if you, like, leave him downside, and he's, like, probably my favorite, just because he's Takudog. As they transition into modern times. One day, he was to have a meeting with a dignitary of the 8th Word. The Theocratic sect believing that the 8 scribes were more than mortal, and in their words, divine, which had grown in popularity since the birth of the Saurian Union. Almer was stunned to find that this dignitary was none other than the one he knew as Kay from their days spent in exile. Kay was overjoyed to see him, although Almer was unable to bring himself to understand why. Eventually, of course, he did, and they since have ensured the Oldheart clan shall carry on in this new age. So basically, they got married. Not a day went by that Almer Oldheart did not think about his father and give thanks to him and speak to him at morning and at night. Would that the stars yet shone, for surely Dalberts would be there among them, smiling down at his son and watching over him and his kin. Popped a bunch of not dog babies, I know, right? I kind of wanted to do Almer, like, near the end, but I guess Dalbert and Almer come together. All his life, Sir Deluge had fled from one danger only to find himself facing another. Oh yeah, we never got Sir Deluge's backstory. So basically he was cast down because in that one battle he like turned tail and fled instead of like fighting to the end, and the Commonwealth didn't like that. He had escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion. He had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth, and now he had escaped the Rites. After the Rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient test were crestfallen as their last chances to return to their homes vanished along with the stars above. But Deluge did not mind, for this outcome meant that, at last, there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. Having heard that Sir Gilman also had remained behind, Deluge made a point of avoiding him at all costs. Nonetheless, they ran into each other once, riding the cold current in the Sea of Solace. The meeting was terse and cordial. Deluge ended up apologizing profusely for mistreating his fellow Worm Knight, and that was the end of it. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyrehearts yet longed for the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses toward conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, who had taken a liking to him for some reason. Reportedly, they disappeared into the waters of Worm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in worm population observed in the vicinity. I like how it plays their music when you read their thing, too. After the cycle of the Rites had ceased, Witch Udmildhe returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the pit of Myleith. Didn't expect him to get a happy ending. Yeah, he does. I think he gets a happy ending regardless, but I haven't seen his, like, escaped ending. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time and left her to her vile work. Sometime later, the pit of Myleith erupted into flames, so intense was the conflagration, I've never had to say that word aloud either, that it could be seen all the way from Jomor Valley. Arson was suspected, though the cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled, the grounds had cooled, and the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of Witch Udmildhe could be found. As for the contents of the pit of Myleith, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Ysloch, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Saurian Union, Udmildhe's repeated threats of the return of Ysloch were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. Makes you burn with her Cthulhu hubby, I know, right? It kind of actually sounds like some divine irony there, that, like, Ysloch's remains were in there, and I believe that the Lone Minstrel confirms that he'll reform eventually and, like, come back. So it kind of sounds like she actually destroyed the reforming Ysloch. So, irony. Love it. Okay, Barker. Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth, for he always found its bylaws to be stifling. So when the Rites ended, he did not care at first. He soon grew very bored. The Rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he had always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the Rites for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the Dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, and thus they ran against each other back in Jomor Valley. Gradually, other exiles familiar with the Rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take an interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaw some healthy competition. His old feud with Rukey Greentail ceased meaning anything to him, and he forgot all about it amid his new pursuits. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such a directionless existence to that point, found something of a calling through the Rites. Whether he took the Rites less seriously than any other exile of his time, more, was oft debated by those who watched him work. So yeah, Barker's cool wherever he ends up. Good for Punk Dog, yeah. Throughout her exile, Tamitha Thane was motivated by a single goal: to return to the Commonwealth and exact vengeance on her ancient enemies. When she realized the rites had ended and that she would never see her mountain home again, she nonetheless remained determined to aid her people however possible. She had gathered certain information pertaining to the intentions of the Nightwings, who had formed a pact to regroup on the other side after their liberation. Other such reports exposed certain weaknesses in the Commonwealth defenses and revealed to the Highwing remnants the opportunity for a risky but potentially impactful strike. Though Tamitha could not participate in the assault, she nonetheless contributed to its success. She later learned her sisters of the Highwing remnants called out her name as a battle cry as they swooped down upon their enemies. Soon after the fall of the Commonwealth, Tamitha learned her blood sister Pamitha was an accessory to the successful outcome. Tamitha was very skeptical of this, but as similar reports kept mounting, she soon accepted the prevailing opinion, however grudgingly. Once a messenger imp arrived bearing some sort of message, seemingly from Pamitha. However, Tamitha turned it away. She would not give in to an impulse to forgive. Knowing that the conflict on the other side had ended, Tamitha retreated to the crags of Black Basin and grew ever more distant. Those closest to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was at the heart of this, though for her part, Tamitha never once admitted to any such weakness. May she girl boss forever more on the downside. Yeah, she's, I feel bad, but also, like, if I had kept Pamitha down, they wouldn't have reconciled either. So, like, the only way to get them to reconcile is if they're both topside.
More spectacular.
When Manly Tinderstoff realized the rites had ended and that he no longer could return to the Commonwealth through the ancient means, he was outraged. He cursed the scribes, spewing forth such a slew of blasphemy as to be very unbecoming of one of his high status and bearing. When at last he calmed himself, he focused all his energies on attempting to find another means of homecoming. He maintained regular contact with his wealthy family on the other side via messenger imp, and used their vast resources to explore other means of escape. He tried using an elaborate pulley system, he attempted to retrofit a flying black wagon with superior propulsion, he attempted an imp raft, a hot air balloon, even prayer. Nothing worked. There was only one way to escape the downside, and now it was gone. Tinderstoff bankrupted his family in these vain attempts. At last, such was his shame that he retreated to the teeming woods of Black Basin, to Cinderroot. There he yet wallows, complaining to his comrades of the Chastity who still put up with him, either about his own misfortune or the latest news from the other side. Deserved, I know, right? Once it became clear to Ignarius that the rites were drawing to a close, he knew that it was time for him and the Tempers to call it quits. But first, he and the Tempers decided to celebrate, and that they did for many, many nights. The revelry did eventually subside. The exiles parted amicably and went their separate ways. He roamed the downside then, searching for some meaning in life, sometimes taking odd jobs requiring his brute strength. He never remained alone for very long and took on many lovers in his time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he had called Curly Horns and what became of her. Oh, Elvis, dude. He does look like Elvis, oh no. Though his glory days as the most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed the fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. Yeah, if he and Jodariel end up on the same side, they, like, get together. So. But she's up and he's down, so nope. In the aftermath of the final liberation rite, Oralech at last returned to his nation, one he had not seen in nearly 2 decades. He scarce recognized it. After all, it was in the midst of transformation, a social and cultural upheaval sparked by Volfred Sandalwood's plan. When Oralech witnessed the people of the Commonwealth gathered in solidarity under the black sky, there on the night of the scribe's return, he looked on in silence for a time. Then the Highwing remnants descended, and a panic quickly spread among those gathered. A pitched battle erupted in the streets. It was chaos. Oralech observed all of this, then took a step toward the fray. He knelt beside the closest injured man to him. He staunched the man's bleeding and set an injured leg, then pulled him to safer corner of the street. Oralech's old abilities as a physician had not left him during all these years. Thus did he aid as many as he could throughout the night until the danger passed. History would know him as the Demon Doctor, a term of endearment that stuck even after his horns started to recede. Oh yeah, so horns do recede, confirmed. He lent his skill and service throughout the birth of the Saurian Union. The one he had called the Shadow of the False Nightwings was someone whom he thought of often. He knew he owed his freedom to her. Having witnessed the aftermath of Sandalwood's plans, Oralech understood at last what his former companion wanted. Years ago, they conceived a version of this plan. Now Oralech found he wished Sandalwood could be present to witness the reality of it. Alone with his thoughts, Oralech would sometimes visit the memorial to the fallen leaders of the Commonwealth. Though, other than such appearances and notwithstanding his duties as Master Physician of the state, Oralech led a very private life. He would have guessed that he was once one of the most accomplished rites conductors in the history of the Nightwings. History, of course, shall ensure we shall not forget. Yeah, if he doesn't end up topside, I think he just pitches himself off the mountain again. So, that guy had some demons. Hold on, why can I not go? Okay, I'm gonna hit Tizo because for some reason the screen is like pulling up. Oh, there it is. But now it's pulling. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna hit Tizo. Once the rites had ended, the imp Tizo had a job to do, quite unlike most exiles trapped forever in the downside. The lone minstrel asked that he watch over the Black Wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively for travel and for shelter all throughout their quest. Tizo obliged, for he knew the wagon, as well as its driving inhabitants, better than anyone. What became of the wagon exactly was never verified, as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends, or else with his fellow imps. Sandalwood sometimes called for his assistance, and Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. He often chirped about the reader. Oh, I got a thing. You are an exile of the Commonwealth sentenced to life in the downside, once merely the status of a deviant, yet now a revered title in the Saurian Union. He often chirped about the reader of the Nightwings, with whom he built quite a rapport. The reader understood him perhaps better than anyone. Indeed, Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings and their many adventures throughout the land that was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret for messenger imps relaying news to and from the Saurian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. Aw. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solace at every single chance he got. Aw. Alright, I'm gonna do you. Several exiles of the Nightwings cared more for the plan of Sandalwood than to return home from the downside. The crone called Big Bertrude was a prime example. She had found a suitable environment to live, within the dismal region known as Flagging Hands. There she had built up a thriving place of business known to many exiles in the land. With the rites having ended, she returned to her preoccupations, working away almost as though nothing had happened. When one gets to be more than 400 years of age, perhaps then even monumental events such as the culmination of the rites or the collapse of the Commonwealth are seen as trifling matters. Much of her effort was doubtless due to the influence of Sandalwood, someone whom she had admired now for decades. He had made clear that he could not requite her feelings for him, but what could have been a hurtful dismissal led only to a deeper understanding between them. Right? Like, she's the real girl boss. I guess real they boss? I don't know. She refers to... Bertrude refers in, like, the plural, so... By and large, Bertrude kept focused on her work. Whether casting small enchantments or imbuing talismans, the work brought her a sense of purpose, she would say. In the Commonwealth, such services were strictly forbidden, but in the downside, there was a real need for simple luxuries, which the competing slug market could not always provide. Thus did Big Bertrude continue to live up to her name, and the tales of her I guess it is her, okay. Her days with the Nightwings made her that much more the living legend. When the cycle of the rites ceased turning, Volfred Sandalwood turned to the starless sky and closed his eyes and prayed. It was all that he could do at that stage in his plan. What was our final success rate? Oh, it doesn't say. He aspired to assemble with liberating exiles representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They would stand together as a vision of the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth had tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit, yet the plan did have contingencies. Word reached him that, on the night of the scribe's return, several of his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together and their voices echoed through the streets. It was vital to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in nature, but this proved to be untenable, especially after the Highwing remnants appeared. There was speculation that their well-timed assault may not have happened by coincidence, though Sandalwood denied any involvement and regretted the bloodshed. Nevertheless, the main thrust of the plan had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that as much as possible, providing counsel from afar to those who would be at the forefront of the birth of the Saurian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant that there was only so much he could do. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to the remaining exiles of the downside. They might never return to that new nation, but at least they could experience its triumphs and its struggles in some vicarious way, so he took to his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Saurian Union, so too did exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach as many as he could. More than that, he provided the material to read, a semi-annual report about the latest events in both the Saurian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to, so basically he runs a newspaper. One of his allies in all of this was the imp Tizo, with whom he had traveled all across the downside. Sandalwood often cited Tizo as the wellspring of his own enthusiasm for a brighter future, such was the creature's spirit. He welcomed the company of the reader of the Nightwings at every opportunity, and counted her a trusted friend and a keen editor. He was pleased to hear that his one-time friend Oralech had once more become a productive part of his society, yet he spoke little of their time together. As Volfred, Sandalwood gained more fame throughout the land for all his sacrifices and his contributions, it is said that he remained steadfast about two things. The first was that the cause itself ought remain in focus. The freedom that the people had achieved, it was a gift to be cherished, a set of values that needed to be nurtured. Me job offer if we have to have one, I know, right? The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who had stood with him, each in turn by name. He never forgot any of them. One day, to commemorate his birthday, the people of the Saurian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, he said he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories more fallible than that of Sandalwood likewise remember the achievements of his fellow former exiles and our cause. And just like him, that was very long-winded. We're gonna do Sandra last. Let's do let's do Hedwyn. After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth, as was vital to the outcome of the plan. He was the one who led the raid on the stronghold where Archjustice Androbles IX was holed up when the fighting grew fierce. With him and then thereafter was one of the winged harps of the Highwing remnants, later identified as Fikani Shang. Yep, there she is. Their bond was vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader in the Saurian Union, Hedwyn oft confided in his friend Jodariel. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwyn would often think back about how the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all the friendships he made, he had pledged to Jodariel, Rukey Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings that they might all be free again together. He had broken that vow, for in the end, not all of them were able to return. A terrible guilt over this darkened his mood for a time. However, the others whom he still knew lifted his spirits, much like he had often lifted theirs. All of the Nightwings knew the stakes. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so in turn did they often think of him. Let's do Gilman. The Worm Knight Sir Gilman had elected to go into exile as penance for his failure to uphold his military obligations to the Commonwealth. To him, earning back his freedom was tantamount to erasing the shame of his past. His honor was at stake more so than anything. Yet when it became clear to him that he would not go free again through the rites, he readily accepted the outcome, for he knew by then that much more was on the line. He regretted not having had the chance to contribute directly to the events that transpired in the Commonwealth, though he was pleased to hear the outcome. The conclusion of the rites and the fall of the Commonwealth made clear to him that his days as a knight had ended. He declared to all those in earshot that he would never fight again, unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstances again requiring him to fight, but he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly, though, never found as skilled and motivating of a partner as his fleet-footed friend Rukey Greentail, whom he remembered fondly. From time to time, he would seek guidance from one of his former comrades, Big Bertrude, much his elder, and a wellspring of perspective on his life decisions. I can only imagine what she has to say. He was always grateful for the counsel of the reader and would regale her over and over about the time they squashed the spawn of unfathomed plurinis. He wasted no time in dwelling on his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander. The other Worm Knights stayed well clear of him. Gilman never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion, and was content to lead a monastic life on a small residence in the hills. It was just high up enough to make him keep striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honor was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself to be renewed each day. I love how we have a small little downside community, I know. Pamitha. After gaining her freedom, Pamitha Thane found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people of the Highwing Remnant, she knew that she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Volfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing their part to fulfill the plan. The plan took certain unexpected turns, but in the end resulted in the outcome Sandalwood had envisioned. It was fortunate that the Highwing remnants arrived when they did on the night of the scribe's return. However, Pamitha denied any involvement with or foreknowledge of this. Afterward, Pamitha played an active part in negotiating terms between the Highwing remnants and the new nation that would become our Saurian Union. Her previous attempt at something of the sort led her to exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Sometime later, Pamitha had an unexpected run-in with Rukey Greentail, with whom she had spent a fair amount of time while traveling with the Nightwings. Not that we ever saw that. Under these new set of circumstances, it turned out the two had more to talk about and rather more in common. They would often put to the test which one was able to outdrink the other. It is unclear as to which of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pamitha received an invitation to return to the Highwing remnants, where she was to be fully pardoned. She held out a hope that she might see her blood sister Tamitha there, knowing full well that Tamitha did not regain her freedom. Tamitha did later learn that Pamitha was welcomed back by their people. However, she never responded to her blood sister's attempts to contact her. Hi Dante, you're getting in the way. Pamitha, in turn, did not expect forgiveness from her at any point. Nonetheless, she kept on trying to reach out, she said, to ruffle up her feathers just a bit. Later, when asked, Pamitha Thane admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. It was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad, for she had traveled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Saurian Union. Pamitha continued to journey thus, citing that it reminded her of when she was younger and could fly unfettered. Let's go, Jody. After her liberation, Jodariel soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Saurian Union. Her military prowess and experience led to key victories in clashes against Commonwealth loyalists. Each time she was able to subdue the opposition, avoiding lethal force. In the uncertain times that followed, Jodariel's seasoned expertise often came into play both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people ever since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close with Hedwyn all through this experience, and they supported each other through their struggles many, many times. She kept an eye on Kay, who nonetheless demonstrated a surprising knack to get by on her own, though Jodariel was always willing to provide assistance just in case. She continued training on her own, a regiment that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, and with fondness, for the most part. No mention of Rukey, huh? You know, I'm glad to hear you have some trouble reading these texts aloud. Helps you feel less bad about stuttering through fatal frame text. No, goddamn, no, I cannot read. Are you kidding? Oh, I'm so glad that Hades has full voice acting, so I don't have to do this for Hades, too. But yeah, after, like, it's been, like, 2.5 hours. After, like, 2.5 hours, your brain starts to stall a little, and, like, the writing of this game can be, like, a little obtuse sometimes. Especially, like, when Tariq talks. Rukey. After Rukey Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to a lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth, as was the tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury, and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces, as he promised. On the night of the scribe's return, Greentail kept busy barking orders to Volfred's agents as the situation grew tenser. He took rather well to leadership. When the dawn finally came, and it became clear that the Commonwealth that everyone knew would be no more, he realized many new opportunities awaited. He began quite a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was well off, as he always said. One of his orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pamitha, to whom he took a liking during their quest for freedom. They bonded further over love of drink and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all his many friends and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made a special point of staying close with the group of friends he came to know so well during his time with the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. Okay, 2 more. And then I think there's 1 more, so 3 more. The Commonwealth had never provided a sense of home for the one they had called Kay the Unkempt, so she was surprised on her return that she was so well treated. She felt uneasy about it, and besides, she knew that she would do her best to fulfill the pledge she had made to her friends. Even she could not have expected the impact she would have on the events that followed, which gave rise to our Saurian union. Kay stood with the others on the night of the scribe's return. She did not take up arms, but spoke of the scribes with conviction and sincerity. Others were so caught off guard that it helped quell the danger of the situation. After the fall of the Commonwealth, there was a renewed interest in the legend of the 8 scribes, and many new interpretations of their histories and teachings. Kay found herself at the center of all this. Her way of speaking continued to compel a growing audience. She swayed many people from their astralist beliefs. Soon the 8th Word, which had lost favor with the people during the reign of the Commonwealth, sought her out and asked her formally to join, and she did right away. Through it all, she would wonder how her little friend Tizo had fared. While they were divided now by a great distance, he always remained in her heart. She cited her relationship with Jodariel as the single most important in her life. Jodariel would always provide her a circumspect perspective and a wisdom of experience. Yeah, screw her husband Takudog. It's Jodariel, who is her main important relationship in her life. One day she encountered one of her former adversaries, one called Almer Oldheart, who had served the Fate. She remembered him much more than he did her, though only just at first. Their shared experience in the rites and their different points of view about the scribes formed the basis of what grew to be a long-lasting relationship. Kay always was devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Many people in the Saurian Union cited that her gentle manner and unwavering conviction helped them brave the changing times with courage and with grace. I think they still end up together if they're both downside, though I don't think they have kids. So it's like technically happier if they're both topside. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings became inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings who remained in the downside continued to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there is no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the apparition Sandra the Unseeing. Would you have kids in the downside? No. I wouldn't have kids now. Like, in real life. One possibility is that when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Others remain skeptical that the Beyonder crystal ever existed, or rather, that the visions that it granted were anything other than the result of an active imagination or a fever dream. The bog dwellers of the southern bogs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with binding enchantments. If there existed such an object in which the Sisters of the Arch had been expelled for more than 800 years, then the enchantment could have expired along with the light of the stars. What this would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than that it may have meant that they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder crystal remain unknown. Yet those exiles of the Nightwings who claim to have seen this apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence or perhaps a little fear. Can you believe this, reader? Honestly, Sandra has appeared before you, as well as you can see. They are so far from the mark with all this nonsense I want to laugh. In fact, here goes. She laughs. She is referring to the account of her. You sense she does not care for it. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you at least in passing when they next are at it. Though they shall never know even the half of it, shall they? Sandra is irritated by the incomplete account of what happened to her. Reassure her. Humor her. Let's humor her. You indicate to Sandra that the real truth of what happened between you would perhaps make too lascivious... Oh god, I don't know that word. Lascivious? Lascivious a tale to be told in such a format. She makes a bemused sound at this. Perhaps that story ought to get out then, to think that they would go to all the trouble to make literacy accepted once again, only to print such drivel. So basically we banged Sandra, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, let us keep going, lovely reader. We know the truth of it, and that's what matters. She fades into the Beyonder crystal for now, and you tuck it away safe. There is one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Too horny for spirit, she had. Not safe for kids. Little is known of her. However, some accounts of her begin to paint a picture. We know she was of common birth. Weak-framed, though raised with a penchant for learning. The journey to the downside left her close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found her. They brought her from the brink. She showed them the path. She pressed onward with the others, longing always to regain her freedom. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turns. When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. In the end, however, she remained in exile. From that point on, accounts of her diverged. It is said the voice, which troubled her, she never heard again. Some say she opted for a place to settle in the downside. Though whether that is true, only she knows. Someday perhaps that reader's— why did that appear so fast? Someday perhaps that reader's own star shall emerge, then it shall pierce the dark of night in all its brilliant glory. Until such time and ever after, all of us give thanks. And credits. I actually kind of hate the credit song. It goes like full ballad. Not ballad even, like... I know there's a word for those songs that like tell stories instead of like just being a song. I don't think it's ballad though. So yeah, that's Pyre. We're all done. I was right. I perfectly estimated how long this would take. This is probably the Supergiant game that I've played the most hours of, and like, aside from Hades. and that I've replayed the most just for like the different endings and the different dialogue and stuff. I think it's really underrated personally, but it didn't sell very well, so it never really got like the treatment that like all the others got with like console editions and like ports and everything. So a lot of people just like haven't even played this one. Let's see here. Minor nitpicks would include, I kind of hate how every exile that you're with, hated the gameplay, everything else is awesome, yeah. It's a kind of a weird gameplay. I mean, it's like a basketball game. But yeah, I kind of hate how like all the exiles you're with are like just unambiguously like good. Like, and like almost all of the exiles you like face against are like unambiguously like questionable. Yeah. Like I think for the people you face against, the only ones that are like actually not questionable in any way are like Almer and Dalbert and Ignarius and Oralech. Other than that, like everyone is just like kind of bad and everyone you're with is like kind of good. I kind of wish that they had a little bit more like reason to want to free the others, you know? Because like why would you ever let like Udmildhe or Lendel or like Manly Tinderstoff go? Like and then yeah, and they wanted to focus on the companionship with our group. That is true. I mean, it's like the background is so like inconsequential though. Aw. Looks like Pamitha and Rukey are drinking together on top of the black wagon, and possibly Hedwyn is not having a very good time with it. Oh, Rukey was Daring Corb? Interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the companionship with the group aspect of it, but like, the enemies' backstories are so like, Udmildhe was also Daring Corb? Interesting. But yeah, the other exiles' backstories, like, on the opposing teams are so inconsequential that, like, there's no reason, really, to, like, make them all bad. Oh, that's what she looks like without the robe on. Interesting. I do like the art that they have here. The bog dweller Bertrude kept their foes at bay with her finest enchantments. I think we're almost done with the credits here. But yeah, other than that, I really like the game. I mean, I've played like a lot of hours of it. I can actually check to see how many Steam hours I have in it. I think this is like my 5th playthrough of it too. Wish it had some more buried backstories, more redemption stories. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I will say, I think that this, I mean, Hades does give it a bit of a run for its money, but I think this game definitely has like the best characters of any Supergiant game. Which makes sense, because like the characters really are like the main focus. Hades has good characters too. Bastion and Transistor, they have good characters, but like their cast really aren't like the focus of the game, and they're so small. I mean, for Transistor, it's literally just like Red and the sword guy, and then for Bastion, it's like the kid. I don't even remember their names. I haven't played that game in so long. It's like the kid, the old guy, and the mole people. Wait, I cannot remember their names. I haven't decided what I'm gonna play next. I'm probably not gonna start like another Thursday stream. This will probably be the last of my Thursday streams just because classes are gonna be starting up again and I won't have time for 2 streams a week anymore, but when we finish Hades, I'll probably play either Transistor or Bastion next. I just don't know which one I want to do. Transistor would let me use a mouse, so I don't have to keep bringing my controller down. Oh, interesting. This is different. I think like this final little thing is slightly different depending on if you're upside or downside, but I'm not sure. Hades has some character developments. Transistor and Bastion focus more on the gameplay experience and the overall world building along with the main conflict. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my problem with Hades is just that, like, you have to go through so much to get a lot of the, like, dialogue and things. Oh my god, she's already on season. One of my mutuals is watching, Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time, and she just texted me. She's like, I'm on season 3. I'm like, you started watching a week ago. Okay. But yeah. So I'd say, I don't know. I'm still not quite sure where to place Hades on my, like, list of, like, Supergiant games. Like, if I were to rank it against the others, because, like, I hate to say it, but I kind of like Pyre better. Even though Hades is, like, objectively kind of a better game, I just can't get past, like, the roguelike sort of dying over and over and taking 200 hours to see everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd probably have to replay the other ones to get a better idea, but I was like... There were points when I was playing Pyre where I was like, I like Hades better, but, like, when I hit the end, I don't know, I just feel, I'm like, yeah, Pyre I like better. Hard to say. Let me go back to the main menu. I think that should be good. The real question is, can I actually mouse off of this screen? Because I've been... Okay. For some reason when I have the performance window open on Streamlabs, it, like, won't let me mouse off of Pyre to, like, stop the stream. And that's annoying. My favorite story is Transistor, favorite characters Pyre, favorite gameplay Bastion. Can't judge Hades too much, yeah. I would agree with that, kind of. I don't hate Transistor's story. My main problem with Transistor's story is that it's kind of obtuse. Like, one of my friends played it for the first time, and she was, like, very confused, and I had to, like, go dig up the old, like, Steam post or whatever on the forums that, like, explains how, like, what happened in Transistor's story. And, like, I mean, like, it's a good story, but I feel like if you're gonna tell a story, it shouldn't be so obtuse. I did that for you too, and then another friend of mine played it for the first time like 3 weeks ago, and I had to do it again. So I've had to do that twice now, where someone has played Transistor and, like, didn't understand the story, and I had to send them to an outside forum post that would explain the story. Yeah. But, like, I'd say it has the best story, but it's not told the best. Yeah. It's definitely not told the best. Like, that's part of its problem, is that it's just kind of, like, so obtusely told that it's hard to grasp. And you shouldn't have to, like, go to an outside forum to piece together a story like that. I mean, like, you kind of get the gist when you're playing, but it's kind of hard. I think that Transistor definitely has my favorite environments, though. I think that it's, like, the city is so beautiful. Like, I can't get over how good that game looks. And I think that the terminals are really fun for, like, a little bit of extra characterization. And, like, the world is pretty cool. Like, I think it has... Like, I just like the setting of Transistor a lot. But, like, gameplay-wise, it's definitely my least favorite. Especially, like, I think it's fine in the beginning, but toward the end when you start getting, like, the enemies start getting, like, extra abilities, and you have, like, the snapshots with their fog of war thing and everything, and, like, the men, it's kind of painful, to play. I've never played New Game Plus in Transistor because all of the enemies start out with their endgame abilities, and I was like, I barely got through the endgame with these guys having this stuff, so no thanks. Bastion I have replayed on New Game Plus, and actually I'm kind of pissed off because of Steam Cloud saves, because I actually did every single one of the, like, the trials in Bastion 2, and, like, completed all of them, including the shield one, which took me hours, and I was like, I'm never deleting this save, because I finally did it, and then, I was playing it with a friend, and we were offline, and I didn't realize that, like, if I played it without internet, it would overwrite my cloud saves, and I wouldn't be able to get them back. So, yeah. I haven't touched Bastion since, because I was so pissed off about it, and it's been, like... Oh, boy. It's probably been, like, 8 years since I played Bastion. Pyre has to be the worst for me gameplay-wise since it made me stop playing. Also remember me raging over Transistor. Yeah, Bastion for sure. Hades game, like, the physical mechanics of Hades are, like, similar enough to Bastion that I have a hard time saying, like, Bastion has the best gameplay, because it's, like, it kind of shares that with Hades. If you're just talking in terms of mechanics, but in terms of, like, not being a roguelike you fail over and over again, Bastion is definitely the superior game. But anyways, yeah, so after I'm finished with Hades, like the Hades epilogue and romancing everyone, I will probably do Bastion or Transistor for my streams. And then whichever one I do first, or whichever one I don't do next will be the next game after that, so, because I want to do all of the Supergiant games for fun. Bastion will be fun because I think that's the one I haven't replayed, like, the most recently, because, like, Hades I played last year, Pyre I played probably, like, 4 years ago, maybe? I don't remember when it came out. And time is a lie ever since COVID. And then Transistor I played before that, and Bastion, it's been, like, almost a decade, probably, since I played it, so... I get to re-experience some things. But anyways, I am going to wrap up the stream here, because despite me thinking this would be a short stream, it's actually been like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it's like 6 o'clock here. And I think I have to order pizza, but I'm not sure. And possibly do grocery shopping. Anyways, no one cares about my, the details of my life. So, anyways, thank you for coming. I'll upload the VOD of this on YouTube with little timestamps so everyone can skip around. And hopefully I will see y'all around on Saturday for for Hades.